Welcome back to another episode of Fat Loss for Beginners. Today we're going to be talking about carbohydrates and fats. Wait, I thought carbohydrates were better. No, wait, I thought fats were better. Hold up, guys, wait. I know we get the gist of saying like fats are bad or carbs are bad, but don't worry, I'll explain everything to you guys in this video. Alright, so before we start, if you guys been following along the journey or just tuning in, remember the first video we talked about was the why mindset. Again, this is going to help you understand and go into your journey, why you go into this journey. Because when life gets tough, when life gets tough, or you just lack the motivation, referring back to your why is what's going to help you keep driving forward to get to the goal you're destined for. Then once you get down to your why, then we kind of figure out your current situation. What that entails is figuring out what you're doing and figure out what the negative habits are coming from, learning about those, try to transition that into positive habits to get yourself the momentum going forward. Then also learn the importance of protein and why it's such a beneficial for the fat loss. Then once you figure out those two, get the momentum going from 2 to 4 weeks, then we move into the customized macros, which is now trying to figure out your true maintenance calories on your day-to-day activities. Now again, it's not going to be the truest, it's just kind of ballpark where you should be at. But then once you figure out where your true maintenance calories are at from, looking at the scale of the weight and seeing the weight is not moving, then we put yourself in a true deficit. But when we customize those macros, now we got to figure out why are carbs and fats such a high when we get the notion of, I thought having too much carbs or having too much fats is going to make me fat. Well, I'll explain all this in the video, but before I do, I kind of wanted you guys I just want to give you guys the purpose of what the fats and carbohydrates do. So both of them have three purposes. We're going to talk about the carbs. So the first thing is performance. Guys, if you're lacking performance or you guys are just not getting the beneficial workout that you would like to, start adding a little bit more carbs before and after you train, you start to notice a big difference. The second purpose is recovery. Guys, we go through a lot of stress, whether that's school, work, children, whatever that case is that causes stress on day-to-day activity. Carbohydrates are great, just help calm the cortisol levels down. And lastly, number 3 is energy. If you guys notice from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed, you get these high spikes of energy, then crash, high spikes and crash. That means you're kind of just lacking the carbohydrates or the energy. So if you have enough carbohydrates to sustain you throughout the entire day, you would notice a difference of energy. Then for fats, it's nothing spectacular with fats except for the main thing to understand is it just helps regulate your hormones. Besides that, that's the most important thing. Besides that, it just helps it supports your nervous system and then just helps maintain the cell membranes. But that's about it for just giving you guys a generalized idea of what the purpose are. And then we can move in for how to go about your training, what foods to have, and busting some myths. So from the last video of customizing your macros, when we get the numbers, I'm sure you guys are questioning, yo, that's a lot of carbs and that's a lot of fats. Well, it does seem a lot, but again, it's not to the fact that it's not going to make extraordinary that you are going to gain weight from having that much of consumption. Again, it's based on calories in, calories out. So how to go about your training is, we take an example from my last client where we had 330 grams of carbs. So how we go about the training is, depending on what time you train, if you do it in the morning, it's a little bit different. It's just based on how you do it the night before. So you are training in the morning, I'll just put more of your carbs at bedtime. So you get enough to reduce the cortisol, but as the time goes in the morning, you get a little faster, but still can put into your workout in the morning if you go in your fasted workouts. But besides that, if you are training in the afternoon or in the evening, I prioritize more carbs around before and after training. So what does that look like? So say for example, we have 330 grams of carbs, right? And we want to prioritize around the workout. What I would recommend, just have a little bit more bump up, is I'll do 120 grams before and after. So when we do 120 grams before, I like have the window time between 90 to 120 minutes. Why is that? It just kind of helps the body to digest all the food that you consume and to give you enough time to get into a workout where the body's not focused on digesting and can push all the nutrients to the muscle. Then after your workout, I would like to have it after an hour of your workout. That just kind of helps, recover all the nutrients you deplenish during the workout, and just helps rebuild the muscle and recover from the intense workout you just have. Now, for rest day, it's on your choice. You can keep the carbs the same, or another option is you can reduce the carbs. I like to have it between 50 and 100 grams. Most likely, it's always just that one meal you just cut out, which is pretty much like your pre workout. Because again, on those rest days, you're not really working out, so you don't need as many carbs as you do on training days because you're not utilizing the full potential of those carbs. So again, it's based on your choice. You can keep the carbs the same, or you can cut back 50 to 100 grams. Now, with fats, it's a little bit different. Why? Because fats take a little bit more to digest. So if you have fats, like let's say 20, 30 grams of fats right before your workout, you're not going to get the most optimal workout. Just again, it takes long to digest. So your body's going to be focused on breaking down the fats versus supplying the nutrients into your muscle. So what does that look like? When we do on training days, we want to keep fats around 10 to 15 grams. That's enough to sustain the hunger and also to give you enough on top of that energy for your workout. Now, after your workout, same thing. You want to have a 10 to 15 grams because again, you want more protein, more carbohydrates to fuel the muscles from the intense workout. Now, for your rest day, again, it doesn't really matter, but it does give you the additional option. If you do cut your carbs back on your rest day, you do get those extra calories added into it where you can put it towards more protein or more fat. So it gives you guys more of an option on what you guys want to do on your rest days in a sense. If you want to reduce the carbohydrates, you do get another option of increasing the protein a little bit more or the fats. Again, it's just based on your choice and what you want to do with it. But now, since we understand how to go around your train, how do we find those carbs and fats, we're right here. I give you guys a list of how to get those. But just give you guys a general idea. You can get from rice, fruits and veggies, potatoes, bread, oatmeal, and from your fats, you can get from lean meats, nuts, dairies, and oils. So this is where you can get your sources. Now, if you are having trouble trying to find the carbs that are within your macros, if we're talking about, breads, for example, or tortillas, try to find low carb tortillas. So it's not so much in calories, but you can still get amount of carbs from doing so. So when we go into that, if you guys are struggling, try to find the low section option to help you guys stay within the calorie intake, but also get some more carbs, get low carbs, but for less calories. This is a food for thought for you guys. Now we're just going to talk in the myth buster, because again, I'm sure you guys are getting notions like, again, why having so much fats is good, why having such high carbs are good. So I'll break down the myths for you. So myth buster number one is, do carbs and fat make you fat? No, they do not. The only way you gain fat is you go above the caloric intake. Now we refer back to the last video of finding out true maintenance. That's where you're going to gain the weight back if you go above the caloric intake. Now I know we get the notions like, well, does that count too? Not necessarily, just because you need carbohydrates to sustain you the energy, again, what we talked about throughout your entire day. And then you need fats to again regulate your hormones. You don't need a lot, but you need enough to regulate them to make sure everything's functioning according to your body. Myth number two is, are carbs bad for you? No, they're not bad for you. They're actually great for you, but at moderation. Now, it depends on what type of carbs you have. Are you having whole carbs? Again, like explain why on the list, or are you having refined processed carbs? What those look like is go from sugary drinks like juices, pop, pastries, donuts, cookies, ice cream, anything from the frozen section that's processed, anything along those lines. That's what you want to kind of moderize in a way to not overindulge on those things, but focus more whole foods. Because again, those are just kind of empty calories. Your body's not getting the most nutrients from the whole foods. So if you are the person that's eating par tarts every single day, or like having other refined sugar drinks, or whatever that case may be, I would just cut those back. Focus more on whole foods. You can still enjoy the other parts. Just moderize to your day-to-day lifestyle. The myth about number three is, which one's best? Which one's a better diet? It depends on your lifestyle. You can have high carbs, low fat. You can have low fat, high fat, low carbs. It's based on your preference. If you are going to choose a high carb, low fat, just make sure the low fat is 30% of your caloric intake. Again, from the purpose of the fats, just to regulate your hormones. So you can go both ways. It depends on which feels best for you. and which one you like the most. Then the last one is fat free. I know we get a lot of notion that fat free is great for us, but unfortunately it's not, because again, we do need fats to regulate the hormones. And with the fat free, all they do is add additional ingredients on top of it. For example, like sugar. Again, that's what causes a little bit weight gain. We have too much sugar. That's where the weight is caused from the inflammation from the sugar. So, guys, when we go out, gosh, grocery shopping, anything like that, get your regular cheese, get your regular yogurt, get regular everything. You don't need to focus on getting fat-free things. Because again, it's okay to have fats. Again, just make sure you have it within the caloric intake of your day-to-day lifestyle. But guys, there you have it. We explained the purpose of what carbs and fats do. Explain how to go around your training. Give you guys a list of what foods to have for your carbohydrates and fats, and then kind of bust some myths for you. So moving forward, you guys are not question yourself. Is it okay if I have too much or too little, anything like those? If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment, share with a buddy. I'll catch you guys in the next one.